I never thought the people who would destroy my life would be the same ones who smiled at me across the dinner table every Sunday. If someone had warned me earlier, I probably wouldn't have believed them anyway. When you grow up being the reliable one, the quiet one, the one who always fixes things, you don't expect betrayal. You expect appreciation, or at least respect. I was wrong. I'm the older sibling, the responsible one. From the time I was 16, I worked part-time jobs to help with bills because my parents were always short this month. My younger brother, Aaron, never had to do that. He was the golden child, athletic, charming, loud, and always just one mistake away from being forgiven. I was the backup plan, the safety net, the one who was told, "You understand, right?" I understood everything. Too much. When our parents decided to buy a bigger house, they couldn't qualify for the loan alone. Guess whose credit they used? Mine. They promised it was temporary. They promised my name would be removed once things stabilized. They promised a lot of things. Years passed. Nothing changed. Meanwhile, Aaron got a new car for graduating college, paid for by our parents. I got a thank you text for being patient. I told myself family was family, that blood mattered, that someday it would balance out. Then I got engaged. That was the moment everything cracked. My fiancée, Rachel, was the first person who ever looked at my family and said, "This isn't normal." She noticed how my opinions were dismissed, how my parents called Aaron every day but forgot my birthday, how money always flowed toward him and obligations always landed on me. I brushed it off. I didn't want conflict. I just wanted peace. We planned a modest wedding. Nothing fancy, just something small and meaningful. I asked my parents for one thing: please don't create drama. They smiled. They promised. 3 weeks before the wedding, I got a call from the bank. My mortgage application was denied. Confused, I asked why. The banker hesitated, then explained that my credit score had dropped significantly due to several missed payments and a maxed-out line of credit. A line of credit I didn't recognize. It was tied to the house that was still in my name, the house my parents had taken out additional loans against without telling me. When I confronted them, they didn't even deny it. My father sighed like I had inconvenienced him. My mother cried and said they had no choice. Aaron needed help starting a business I'd never heard about, a business that apparently failed within months. I asked why they didn't tell me. My mother said, "We knew you'd overreact." That sentence changed something in me permanently. I told them I needed my name removed immediately. They said it wasn't possible right now. I told them my wedding was at risk. My father said, "Maybe you should postpone it. Aaron is going through a lot." That night, Rachel sat next to me on the couch while I stared at the wall, feeling something unfamiliar settle into my chest. Not sadness, not anger, clarity. I realized they would never stop, not unless I made them. So I stopped asking. I started planning. I requested full financial records for everything tied to my name. I hired a lawyer quietly. I learned things that made my hands shake. Unauthorized refinancing, forged signatures, documents altered just enough to pass at a glance. My parents hadn't just used me. They had committed fraud. The lawyer asked if I wanted to pursue charges. I said not yet. I wanted them to feel safe first. I played my role perfectly. I apologized for overreacting. I told them the wedding was postponed for unrelated reasons. I offered to help Aaron again, even though he avoided eye contact whenever I entered the room. My parents relaxed. They thought the storm had passed. That's when I made my move. I filed a civil claim to remove my name from the property due to fraud. Simultaneously, I froze my credit, reported the unauthorized loans, and submitted evidence to the bank's internal investigation department. I didn't warn anyone. I didn't threaten. I just acted. 2 weeks later, my phone exploded. My parents were frantic. The bank had frozen the house account. Payments were overdue. The loan was being called in. My father was screaming. My mother was sobbing. Aaron sent me a message that simply said, "Fix this." I didn't respond. The bank foreclosed within months. My parents lost the house they lived in for 20 years. Aaron's business debt followed him like a shadow. My parents tried to blame me publicly, telling relatives I had abandoned them. That backfired when the investigation results came out. The truth has a way of spreading when paperwork is involved. Legal notices arrived. My parents were forced into a settlement that protected me completely and barred them from using my financial identity ever again. Charges were considered. I didn't push further. Losing everything they built was punishment enough. The final moment came unexpectedly. My mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. She looked smaller somehow, older. She asked how I could do this to family. I told her calmly, "You did this to yourselves. I just stopped letting you do it to me." She cried. I didn't. Rachel and I got married quietly a few months later. No family drama, no obligations, just peace. For the first time in my life, I felt light. Aaron never apologized. My parents never took responsibility, but they stopped calling. And that silence, it was worth everything. Revenge isn't always loud. It doesn't always involve yelling or humiliation. Sometimes it's just stepping back and letting people face the consequences of the choices they made while assuming you'd always clean up their mess. I used to think being loyal meant enduring anything. Now I know better. Loyalty without respect is just self-destruction. And walking away wasn't weakness. It was the strongest thing I ever did.